Hello, Bella. Bella. Hi. So today I am here with Bella, my blue-tongued skink. I love her so much. She is so sweet. Anyway, so I am here today with Bella because I'm going to be talking to you guys about blue-tongued skinks. We are going to be talking all about you. You are the star of the show today. So basically in this video today I'm going to be talking to you all about blue-tongued skinks and their care. So maybe if you're interested in blue-tongued skinks, you already have one, you just like learning, maybe you just like watching my videos, I don't know. But anyways, today you get to learn about blue-tongued skinks with me. So I'm just going to start this out by saying blue-tongued skinks are awesome lizards. They have so much personality, they're usually so friendly, they're so easy to handle, and they're just so much fun to own, and they're so cute. Based on all of that, blue-tongued skinks are very good beginner pets since they are so easy to handle, they're easy to take care of, they're just so much fun. But if you don't have much reptile experience, that is okay because they're great. Anyways, they still love you no matter what. Look at her little arms. I'm gonna stop rambling about them now and get into the actual care part of this video. So I'm gonna start off by saying that there is two main types of blue-tongued skinks in the pet trade. There are northern blue-tongued skinks and then there are Indonesian blue-tongued skinks. Now with the Indonesians, there's actually a lot of like subspecies. Bella here is an Indonesian and her subspecies, she is a Merauke blue-tongued skink. Relatively their care is all really the same, so I'm just going to kind of say Indonesians and northerns. Now there is some difference when it comes to care between northerns and Indonesians. Going off the fact that there are two main types, there is a difference where a lot of them come from. All northern blue-tongued skinks are going to be captive bred, at least in like North America and in Europe and Asia. I don't know how it is in Australia because they are a native species there, so I'm not going to speak on that just because I don't really know what goes on there. But anywhere in North America where the majority of my viewers are, any northern blue-tongued skink is 100% captive bred as they are not exported anymore. Indonesian blue-tongued skinks are, on the other hand, are most oftenly imported, wild caught, farmed, whatever. Now there are some who are, so I'm not saying all Indonesians are wild caught because not all of them are. Some of them are captive bred, captive hatched, but it is definitely more common for Indonesians to be wild caught than it is for them to be captive bred, just because not a lot of people have had success breeding them in captivity yet. Just know if you are getting a Indonesian species and it's not marked as captive bred, then it is most likely wild caught. So now that you know that about them and you know that little fact, we will get into the actual care part of this video. So the first thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to owning a blue-tongued skink is their enclosure. So in my opinion, a blue-tongued skink needs at least a 75-gallon enclosure. Many people recommend 40 breeders, but in my opinion it's just too small. I previously used a 40 breeder and it was honestly just like painfully small to look at. So in my opinion, I would definitely say go for at least a 75 or larger. Head to toe, she is about 30 inches long. Clearly she is quite a big lizard. A 40-gallon breeder is only 36 inches long. Bella in a 40-gallon breeder is literally only 6 inches longer than her body. To me, that just does not seem like enough room. It just seems so small for an animal so big. So personally, I would never recommend keeping them in a 40-gallon breeder. If you have the room and the money and whatever to go bigger, definitely do. They will use all the space you can give them. Go as big as you can, but all of that being said, a 75-gallon is the minimum. Now when it comes to what you are going to put inside the enclosure, it's not super complicated. It does vary a bit between northerns and Indonesians though. So Indonesian species require much higher humidity than northerns do. An Indonesian species will typically prefer humidity from 60 to 80%, whereas northerns tolerate much lower humidity, like 30 to 40%. So that can change what substrate you decide to use. For Bella here, who is an Indonesian, I have a mix of cypress mulch, reptibark, eco earth, and sphagnum moss. Now you don't need a big mix like this. Honestly, if you wanted to like just use cypress mulch or something like that, that works just regardless. Make sure whatever you are using holds humidity well. Now for northern, on the other hand, you can go with something like aspen because it doesn't need to hold humidity as much. Cypress mulch is good either regardless if you have an Indonesian or a northern because it holds humidity, but if you don't want it to be that humid, like it doesn't have to be, if you know what I mean. Like in order to keep my cypress mulch humid, I have to mist it. If I were to have a northern per se, I just wouldn't mist it to keep it humid. Like you get what I'm saying? So basically, like, cypress mulch is a great substrate regardless of what skink you have. It works for them all. Now blue-tongued skinks are very curious animals. They like to explore. They should have lots of enrichment in their enclosure. It's important that you provide quite a few things in their enclosure for them. You don't want it to just kind of be bare and empty. Cork bark is awesome. It's so great for them. Blue-tongued skinks are very curious animals, so in my opinion it's super important to provide a lot of things for them to explore and have fun with, basically. In my enclosure here, I have multiple pieces of corkwood and I have a log along with this hammock and tons of plants. Excuse my bunny being adorable. In my opinion, the more you have in their enclosure, the better. They love to hide under things, they love to crawl on things. Anything you can give them, they will love. In my opinion, cork bark is one of the best things you can put in their enclosure because there's just so many things you can do with it. It provides a nice natural look and it gives a place for your skink to hide in and climb on and explore. And it's always good to add new things to their enclosures and switch things up. This way they don't get bored of the same thing over and over again, you know. If you can add new decorations every now and then and stuff like that, they will be so happy. It's definitely important to provide your skink with multiple inches of substrate as well. It may not look like a whole lot on camera, but there is about 4 inches of substrate total. They are burrowing species, so they really love to have a lot of substrate to burrow in. Definitely would recommend providing at least 3 to 4 inches and your skink will be so thankful that you did. Of course, in their enclosure, you're also going to want a food and a water dish. As you can see, they can be quite messy and they do put a lot of substrate in their water bowl. At least mine does. Maybe they don't all do, but mine kicks a ton of substrate in her water bowl every day, so I do have to change it once or twice a day. But it is important that your skink has a water bowl to drink out of, as I find they drink a lot of water. Now, it doesn't need to be big enough for them to soak in, as blue-tongued skinks don't really soak. As long as it is big enough to hold a decent amount of water for your skink to drink out of, that is just fine. And then obviously you will probably want a food dish as well because their food can be quite messy. And while you don't really need a specific hide, like lots of animals, they'll say have a hide on the warm side, have a hide on the cool side. You don't really need that when it comes to blue-tongued skinks because when they want to hide, they just kind of burrow themselves. Either way, I do still have that log hide in there for her and she does use it, so you definitely can provide hides for them, but you don't need to because for the most part they just burrow when they want to hide. So now that your enclosure is all set up, I'm going to talk about their heating and lighting and things like that. Now when it comes to lighting and temperatures, just know your skink should have a warm side and a cool side. It's important you don't have the heat source somewhere in the middle of the tank, as this doesn't provide a very efficient heat gradient. It is very important that you have the heat source located on one side. Now when it comes to picking out your heat source, I would definitely recommend going with some type of overhead heating rather than something like a heat pad. Skinks like to bask, so yeah, overhead heat source is definitely preferred. So for this you can choose either a basking bulb or you can go with a ceramic heat emitter. Indonesians like higher temperatures than northerns do, and Indonesian skink will like to bask around 100 degrees or sometimes even higher, up to 110 degrees, whereas northerns like to bask in more like 90-degree heat. So just make sure you know what type you're getting so you know how warm to keep the basking area. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about UVB and blue-tongue skinks. This can be a bit of a controversial subject as there are many different opinions. Some people believe that blue-tongue skinks absolutely need UVB to survive, and other people believe that it is not necessary for their survival at all. Now I do choose to provide UVB. It may be hard to tell here, but this is actually one of those dual domes. So one of them has a heat bulb in it and the other one has a UVB bulb in it. Many people have many different opinions on this, so it's important that you do your research and figure out what you believe. I personally provide UVB for my skink, although I don't think that it is necessary. Sorry if you hear chewing noises, my rabbit is over here chewing on her toys. There have been many keepers and breeders who have kept blue-tongue skinks for many years, like 20-30 years, their entire lives without using UVB at all, and they do just fine. Because of that, in my opinion, I don't think they need UVB to survive, but I do agree that it is beneficial. So compared to most reptiles, blue-tongue skinks have kind of strange diets. Usually when people think of a reptile's diet, they think of things like insects and maybe rodents if you're thinking of snakes, but on the terms of lizards, most people are probably going to think insects. While blue-tongue skinks will eat insects, it's definitely not the staple of their diet. In the wild, blue-tongue skinks are scavengers, meaning they will pretty well eat whatever they can find that's edible. So they are omnivores, so they do eat both meat and vegetation. Basically, the kind of rule of their diet is you want 40% protein, 50% veggies, and 10% fruit. So because of this, the best thing to feed them is honestly right here, wet dog food. Now, some people think that's super strange that they eat wet dog food, and honestly it kind of is. They're a lizard and we feed them dog food, but it is super good for them. Wet dog food is pretty well kind of made up of what they need. It has the meat in it for protein, it has vegetables in it, so it really does have a lot of what they would be eating in the wild. So honestly, wet dog food is the best thing you can give them. Now when it comes to feeding them wet dog food, you don't want to grab just any dog food out there. You want to make sure you're getting a decently good one for your skink. No matter what, you're going to want to make sure that it is grain-free. I use this brand here. It is Simply Nourish grain-free, and they make all different kinds. Like this one here is turkey and sweet potato. This one here is lamb and vegetables, and this one here is chicken and vegetables. I think they do make a couple other kinds as well, but this is just what I have on hand. I definitely recommend giving them lots of variety. That's why I have all these different flavors here. Like I have the turkey, lamb, chicken, beef one. And then giving them raw fruits and veggies is really good as well. It doesn't actually have to be raw. I don't know why I said raw. Regardless, you can give them fruits and veggies also, which you actually should. And not only should you be giving them things like that, you are also going to want to make sure you supplement with calcium and vitamins. Blue-tongue skinks can also have treats. They love eggs. Eggs shouldn't be fed too often because I think that they are just too high in like fats and proteins, but they are good as a treat. Fruits also shouldn't be fed super often. They should only make up a small part of their diet, but they make great treats. Mine loves bananas. So compared to other lizards, their diet is kind of strange, mostly consisting of wet dog food, but a lot of people like that. Some people don't like having to feed insects, they don't like having to feed whatever. This way you don't. You literally go to the pet store and buy some dog food and feed it to your dog. So honestly, I think that's really all I have to talk about for now. Their care is super simple. They are great pets for beginners. They're awesome. Hopefully if you're interested in blue-tongue skinks, or you just came here to learn some more, or whatever reason you have for clicking on this video, hopefully it helped you. Hopefully you enjoyed it and all that fun stuff, you know. Did you learn something today, Bella? Yeah? So anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to you. If you liked it, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel below. Also be sure to hit the little bell button to turn on notifications so that you know whenever I post. Right, Bella? Don't you think they should turn on my notifications and subscribe to my channel? She says yes. Also, be sure to check out all of my social media. I will have everything in the description below, but basically everything is just MSAM99. So anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.